We train our people at the school of the prophet to assist business people. So when you connect with that person to pray for your business and to advise you spiritually, they will help you if you're not spiritual to identify what is happening. It could be strife, it could be the staff is not moving together, it's a defilement on the organization and the operation. They know will use the gift and identify and instruct you as the owner the way to pray, or what prayer you used to use to defeat the spirit that is in manifestation. It could be fear, because fear is one of the greatest spirit. Each time you're about to move into the next level, the enemy will try to bring fear on you. And you know, your business is going to close down, you're going to be bankrupt, nothing is happening. You know, to defeat you. And there's a prayer also in here to pray against fear, which is very effective, because we must understand that the enemy speaks to us on a daily basis. But the enemy cannot penetrate prayer, effective prayer. And we also, prayer also very important for prayer for healthy marriage and sex life. You know, most people within a marriage couple, there are problems they have in their sex life, their marriage. Nothing's happening. You're just in the marriage because God said so. Or you're in the marriage because you're getting a lot of money. So you're just intolerance, or the person have 2 or 3 children and you're in the marriage, but nothing is happening. You're afraid to speak to someone about the problem. And there are instructions in this book itself, and prayer to pray to have a good sex life. We also have prayer, and this is very important because you know, I've walked through this one, whereas the enemy has attacked a pregnant woman, the spirit of Herod, people have had miscarriage. And you need to understand that once someone pregnant and there is a deliverer in that person's belly itself, the enemy is going to attack to terminate that given pregnancy. And this book was written through a situation like that we were being through, where the enemy has robbed us of our child. And God has taught us, you know, how to pray and how to counteract that it will never happen again. And we have seen a lot of persons as have miscarriage and have hurt. And there's a prayer in it from conception to birth and moving onward that you pray and what you should do on a daily basis to ensure that that seed, it could be a past girlfriend, or it could be some in-laws that are praying or cursing for you not to conceive. And I'm speaking to a lot of pregnant women right now, that when you are pregnant, do not take your pregnancy light, but to pray the prayer that is in this book on a daily basis for God to protect that child that is coming to bring change into the nations.
So prayer words address all situation and every level.
Yes.
In terms of finance, in terms of sex life, in terms of your business, you know, some most natural things. But I want you to speak to us now. If you know, we have somebody who's fairly ideally okay in those areas, but spiritually they are lacking and they want to go higher in God. How does prayer works help them in that?
Normally they lack spiritually. They want to go higher in God.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to locate a prayer that will allow them to go to the next level. I'll give you an example. Let us find one. Like for instance, the key to your breakthrough. The breakthrough that you need may be a spiritual breakthrough.
Right.
Because not every breakthrough is naturally. You may be asking the Lord for a new anointing, or you may be asking the Lord for a spiritual gift. There's a prayer for that in here when you pray. You may be praying also to receive a miracle. Your miracle that you're praying for may be a spiritual gift or a spiritual impartation. You may be praying also to go to the next level, and you need the anointing for grace. When God increases the grace on your life, favor increase, your anointing increase, your gift increase. What we need is the grace of God, because when the grace of God is increased, everything in your life is increased. And all the great men in the Bible, like Moses and Abraham and Joseph and Daniel, it is a grace on their life why they were so successful. And all of us need a different level of grace to receive that anointing and to walk with that mantle that God wants us to walk with. Okay, and also we have prayer also to break curses. Some of us, God wants to use us, but each time we are on the verge of going into the next realm spiritually, the enemy will use something in your past. For instance, suppose you struggle with the spirit of rejection or spirit of jealousy, and you're on the verge to get a new anointing. The enemy, at the verge of you passing over for the new anointing, will just pull you back and just pull you out of the presence of the Lord and deny you from moving up to the next level spiritually.
So, for example, there's someone watching and they're in that battle. Every time they recognize it. And this book tells them how to recognize, you know, an eye-opener, how to recognize the spirit that's attacking them.
Right.
And they start to pray, but still they want the confidence to cross over effectively. How do you advise them to
once they start to pray the prayer,
yeah,
especially 7 times for the day, because anything you do for 7 times throughout the day always become a covenant. Then automatically, whatever you're going through will disappear. Right. Because it means that the prayer will start to consecrate you.
So you're saying that
consecrated,
if my family great-grand is in adultery, and
right,
you recognize, that person recognize that, know that they have taken up this book, and they want to go after that spirit to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly.
How they break that?
And they start to pray.
Right.
Eventually.
Right.
Because one thing about the Lord, you know, and it speak about grace again, is that God, sometimes when you cry out to Him and say, God, take away this, He said, my grace is sufficient. Right. But sometimes God will use the circumstances to keep you at your feet. At your feet, you know. When you stay in the presence of the Lord and you stay at His feet, He will continue to deal with your weakness itself, because everybody have a weakness. Right. But if you identify as David that you have a weakness, suppose your weakness is adultery each time you're on the verge and you're gone out, then you start to declare Psalms 51 and start to ask the Lord to deal with this sin itself. Then what it does is that God, because you're honest, will keep you from fall and will enlarge your territory. And when you pray the Jabez prayer, which is in this also, so God, enlarge my territory, keep me not to fall, help me not to bring reproach to you, my family, the nation itself, or my church, then God will honor it. And that is why He asks us to write prayer work.
Right. Man, that's awesome and that's effective, because, Apostle, I believe that many people go to their beds at night, yes, trying not to become a thief and a robber, or trying not to, they recognize the sin, but they don't know how to stop. Okay. And that's a big challenge, even as Christians.
One of the things that God wants us to understand,
yeah,
we cannot deliver ourselves from sin.
Right.
If you try to deliver yourself from sin, it's a human effort.